Welcome to issue 121 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts. And with me tonight is Mike.
Hey, Daniel.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You're another one of our hosts.
I am.
We have a third host with us, and it's Steve. How are you, sir?
I am finger licking good.
Oh, Kentucky Fried Steve.
Yeah.
My favorite of your villainous forms.
Thanks.
Steve, what's going on tonight?
Tonight, we're going to take a look at the Beastie Boys modular set that came in the hood.
Well, I won't sleep then.
So, you remember last week who we talked about?
Was that
it's only been a week, guys.
Crossfire?
Crossfire's crew.
Oh, yeah. What about
Do
it?
you remember the theme that tied them all together?
Yes.
Yes.
You totally don't.
But feel free to remind me.
They were all controllers of sorts. In fact, one of them was called Controller.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Took control of people. Even William Cross, back in his early stories was, taking control of people. But there was one missing, and that is Mandrel. The Mandrel, he was mentioned in the stories, but he's not in that set. And it's because he's in his own set, along with the Griffin. So this is the origin story of the Mandrel and the Griffin. One is an anthropomorphic, guess what? Mandrel. That's where his name comes from. And the other is a Griffin. That's where his name comes from. So just like last week, they're a little too on the nose, not big in the creativity department.
So Mandrel like the gorilla thing?
Yeah, it is a grade 8.
And Griffin like the mythological monster
like
thing?
Like the mythological creature, the lion, eagle, snake.
Oh. Well, I'm really excited to hear about this because how can these things even happen?
Well,
all right.
Yeah, is there some planet where all these anthropomorphic beings come from, Mike?
No. Well, okay. There is the one that rocket trash bag raccoon is from, but these guys are different.
Oh.
They're not intergalactic. These guys are street level. Their origins aren't that crazy, but trust me, if you stick around, I'll make it worth your while. So let's start with the Mandrel, that funky monkey. The Mandrel's first appearance was Shanna the She-Devil #4, published in 1973, which is a thing.
What do you mean, which is a thing? Like 1973 was a thing?
This comic series. Think female Tarzan in the most stereotypically 70s way possible.
I can already picture what she's wearing.
Doesn't age well. And she's not even from the jungle. She kind of goes back, has some connection to animals. Whatever.
Does it have like all the best racism and sexism?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Awesome.
In that issue, the Mandrel is, according to the victors that write the histories, trying to carve out a territory in Africa where everyone will answer to him. And what he's actually trying to do is carve out a territory within Africa where everyone will answer to him. Him and his deadly army of female warriors.
Only females?
Yes. Yeah, girls. All he really wants is girls.
Oh.
But how did he get here? From whence came the Mandrel? Did you know that wasn't the name his mother gave him?
What?
I know. He was born Jerome Beechman. His father was a physicist at a nuclear reactor. One day there was an explosion.
Was it sabotage?
But no. We just built crappy reactors back then. Anyways, this explosion bombards the facility with radiation. And 2 people are caught in the blast. Jerome's very white father and the facility's very black cleaning lady. And that's going to be very important later.
And it's already troubling.
Oh, yeah. So what happens to these 2? What crazy powers do they develop? Well, apparently nothing, because we can't all be Mr. Fantastic. But 1 year later, the physicist's wife, also very white, gives birth to a black child. This is Jerome Beechman. And how is Jerome welcomed into this world, do you think?
Geez, 1970-something?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
With disgust.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of what
yeah.
That tracks.
Worse, he's got these tufts of hair that just get bigger and rougher as he gets older. His family calls him a freak, an abomination, and when he turns 10, his father's present to him is to drive him out to the New Mexican desert and abandon him there.
What?
Yep. So, messed up. While there, though, he meets an albino girl named Necra Sinclair, who happens to share a very similar story. And what a coinkydink, as you may have guessed, she happens to be the daughter of the cleaning lady.
I don't believe in coincidence, Mike. I only believe in fate.
Well, as fate would have it, these two come together in the New Mexican desert.
Oh.
And over the years, they live as vagrants and thieves, and they slowly develop their mutant powers. Necra's appearance is described as vampiric, but as far as I can tell, she's not really a vampire. She just has that goth appearance.
She's just pale?
She's just pale. She has super strength, heightened endurance, and extreme pain resistance, but they only manifest when she has violent thoughts. So, yeah, she's a killer at parties. Jerome becomes a Mandrel with heightened speed and strength, like your grade 8.
Is that it?
Oh, no. There is one more thing. Hey, ladies, pro tip. Ever see the Mandrel coming? Run. He emits a pheromone that puts women under his control.
Wow.
So up until now, you can understand how Jerome's worldview might be a bit jaded, perhaps. Sure. Abandoned as a child by a family that never gave him a chance. They brought him into this world, refused to love him. The only friend he ever had was just as damaged as he was. And you like this, Daniel. We like being able to sympathize with the villains. Surely we can sympathize with this poor boy and why he might want his own piece of the world where people would respect him.
Absolutely.
Well, the pheromone thing takes kind of a dark turn. As the women that go near him fall under his control, and over time, that basically becomes permanent. Like, they get extremely addicted to his presence. He becomes exceedingly misogynistic. He has a harem. He enslaves his own military. He completely owns these women. And when he goes to claim a place in Africa to call home, that's who's fighting this war for him, and that's who his subjects are all going to be.
Wow, that's... I mean... Yeah. When you think of like the horrific and troubling like race politics of the 70s and stuff, I mean, the creation of a villain, and I put scare quotes around that, like it's not surprising. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. It's like, and to have this all take place, around Shadow the She-Devil, it was weird reading it.
Yeah, I bet that was uncomfortable. I mean, it's just oogie in the way that these discussions were then.
Yeah.
I wonder, do they make the reader sympathize with him, or are they sympathizing with the parents the whole time?
Right. Great question. Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of times they might write this stuff in order to make the readers, question things or think about it.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much like they show him as a pretty evil figure.
Right. So this is someone who could have turned into a hero, right? But didn't.
Nope, didn't at all.
Yeah, not with that upbringing, or the lack of, right?
Right, but in the 70s, it wouldn't be blamed on the upbringing, right? It'd be...
Yeah, true.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting, eh?
What about the other guy, Mike?
Well, yes, let's talk about the Griffin. His first appearance is Amazing Adventures Volume 2, Issue 15, published in 1972, where he has a run-in with the Beast, because he's a mythological creature. He has to go up against the Beast. Like the Mandrel, he wasn't born with the name Griffin. He was John Horton, a cheap thug in New Orleans. And unlike Jerome, I don't know much about this guy's childhood. I'm not even sure how he ended up on this path.
Did his mom take away his best porno mag?
I don't know. I had no idea. Marvel didn't say. So, anyways, he's a very big guy. So he makes a name for himself as a muscle for hire. This leads to an introduction with the Secret Empire, where everyone is labeled as like number 1, number 2, number 3. It was a thing back then. He didn't know what the Secret Empire did. He just knew that he wanted to be something more than just cheap hood. And boy, did they provide. He subjected himself to a surgeon, an unnamed surgeon, who grafted animal parts to him.
Oh.
Wings, talons, a spiked tail, a lion's mane. I mean, unnamed, but it's Dr. Mandibus, right? It's got to be.
Right, it's got to be Mandibus. Yeah. Also, your doctor, from what we've heard.
Right.
It was definitely that jackass. Then they subjected him to a mutation that really just tied the whole thing together, put a nice bow on it, and thus he became the Griffin. And that's it. Like he's a brute. That's what he is. That's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, what else can I say? Like he was born to fight. He's a brute. He was born to rock this party 8 days a week, and that's what he does. He's out there fighting for your right to partake in villainous conquests. That is the Griffin.
All right, so why are these guys in the Hood set?
Well, they joined the Hood in the Dark Reign storyline, basically as thugs. Spider-Man and Spider-Woman, and make fun of them, beat them up. It's really cruel. They're basically just punching bags for the heroes. Mandrel certainly deserves it, but I kind of sort of feel bad for the Griffin. He just wants to be taken seriously, but really, over the decades, he exists to be punched in the face repeatedly. They always pit him against the big guys, and the big guys just punch him down. That's what he is. Kind of sad. And he's also, tossed in with this group of really smart, controlling individuals, and this guy basically got owned himself, right?
Wow.
Could have been odd man out, but yeah, there you have it.
Huh. All right, should we take a look at some of these cards then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so these guys come in the Hood pack, 4 cards, 4 by title. It's ranked 5 out of 9.
Oh.
Now, last week we failed to mention that Crossfire's crew was 8 of 9.
I'm glad you said that, Steve, because I meant to ask, because I thought that they seemed kind of difficult.
Okay, since you guys screw with the rules all the time, here we go. Daniel, you're going to read the Griffin, and then Steve's going to read Mandrel.
So we always do, right, Steve? Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Griffin is a unique minion. He's got 1 scheme, 3 attack with a special. He's got 7 health. He's a brute. Masters of Evil traded. Quick strike. Yes. Now, when he attacks, there's a force response. After Griffin attacks and damages a character, stun that character. But, Steve, wait. There's more. When defeated, if there is a stunned friendly character in play, shuffle Griffin into the encounter deck, and he has 2 boost icons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise 3 hit is good on its own.
Oh, yeah,
and it
right?
stuns you. Yeah, it's good. 7 health.
Yeah, he might get to attack you twice, right? He'll definitely attack you once. He might attack you a second time because you've been stunned by the first attack, so you aren't able to attack him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he only attacks once, you've wasted a lot on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the idea. You're exhausted. Maybe your allies are gone. He pops up out of the encounter deck. He hits you for 3 and stuns you. So when your turn comes around, you have to waste an attack to unstun. Then you have to hope you still have 7 attack to take him out. You might not, right? I hit him for 3, but you were exhausted, which is why you didn't defend against him. He's just, and then if you end up killing him, he could come back.
This is a solo player's nightmare.
Yeah. I want to see that situation where I don't know, whoever you're playing, maybe you're playing Kang, right? And you're like, well, I have to take Kang undefended because Griffin's going to stun me.
Right. Yeah, he's fun. I like that when defeated, he flies away because you're stunned.
Yeah.
You can't catch him. He just takes off.
He's just had enough of you.
Yeah.
Mike, help us make sense of the theme of this card. It work for you?
Yeah, he exists to punch and be punched, and that's what this card does.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just, okay.
That's him.
Yeah.
He's got 1 job. All right. Well, Steve, why don't you tell us about the Mandrel?
All right, Mandrel's a unique minion with 2 scheme, 2 attack, 6 health. He's brute, and he's part of Crossfire's crew. Mandrel gains Retaliate X, where X is equal to the number of confused characters, friendly or enemy, in play. When revealed, confuse each character you control, 2 boost icons. Oh.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. I love that he's Crossfire's crew because in the comics, I was reading a comic for Crossfire's crew, and they actually, at the beginning of the books, a lot of times they show you a portrait of all the characters that are going to be in it. And it said Crossfire's crew, and it listed all the guys from last week and had Mandrel in it too. So it's perfect that he has that.
And if you're playing with Crossfire's crew encounter set as well as this, that treachery from last week, caught in the crossfire, can pull out Mandrel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're playing with Mr. Hyde's set, they're both brute, so the side scheme protects them. Like there's a lot
that's
of
so good.
Yeah, there's such good combos here. All right, let's look at his abilities though. When revealed, you confuse everybody you have. Allies, hero, doesn't matter, alter ego, whatever.
It's those pheromones.
Yeah.
Right. You don't even know what you're doing, right? And then, so maybe you have one or two allies, 3 characters are confused, he gains retaliate 3. Or if you've confused the villain, he still has to retaliate at least. Like, I love how that works. Friendly and enemy.
Oh my god.
Because they're protecting him.
Right.
It's him making his own personal army.
Yeah, it's his mind control, which is why he was part of Crossfire's crew.
Mandrel and Jessica Drew could have like a pheromone off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in the comics, Mandrel wins that.
Oh really?
Yeah, he totally does.
Okay.
Well, sure. From his backstory, she's a lady. She can't control herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, there are still a couple more cards in the set. Why don't you title up and put a bow on it and tell us about the rest?
Oh, I like that. Yes. So the first is the treachery double trouble. When revealed, stun a character you control, confuse a character you control, and the special boost ability, resolve this card's when revealed ability.
Nice.
Yep. Just stun and confuse. Simple. I think I want to talk about the next one because it all really does tie together.
Okay.
And that is the side scheme Beast Mode. The only good superhero is a dead one.
True that.
This starts with 3 threat per player. It has 3 boost icons, and the forced interrupt when a stunned or confused friendly character would take any amount of damage, increase that amount by 1. There you have it. So you're playing off this stun and confuse thing.
That's cool.
You get like multiplayer game. Player 1 draws double trouble as a boost card. He has to stun and confuse a character. It could be the same character, and then player 2 has to face Mandrel, or you've got the retaliate coming. Like, yeah, there's just so much of it, and then they're taking extra damage from beast mode because of the stun and the confused. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's a neat little set. Have you guys played with this much?
I haven't played this one too much yet.
Not yet.
I played some only in the hood scenario, and it was one of the sets that wasn't put in right away. So it kind of fell flat, but I think it was because I was playing solo, so I was only pulling out 1 card every once in a while from this set. And there wasn't a whole lot else that I'd pulled that was stunning and confusing. But I think in multiplayer, this has a way bigger impact. And I want to put it in some other villain sets.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know why I like this set a lot?
Why?
Because this is one of the very few sets I think that really does like a concerted number on the yellow cards.
Oh, does it ever?
You know what I mean? Like, I already think yellow is a little bit too in this game. And so, I mean, sadly, it's only a 4-card set. It's really small. But it's wasting justice time, you know? And I appreciate that bigly.
Yeah, and interestingly, for a 4-card set, there isn't a card that pulls any of the others out. There's only the Griffin that can cycle back in.
So let's think about some of the best mods to put him in with. Because like I love these small modular sets because just make it a +1. So
yeah.
We've already, hinted at a few that would be great. Like anything that, goes with brute. So yeah, just throw these 4 cards in with another one, folks.
Yeah, since Griffin is Masters of Evil traded, he plays in the Masters of Evil set that at a certain point fetches a Master of Evil character.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
you've added that. I don't know, just the 2 minions themselves. Even if you don't mix in other sets, if you have a villain who's a really tight encounter set on their own, it keeps this small and it will keep it really focused. Right? Like say you're playing Nebula and this is your only encounter set, only 4 cards. The Nebula is going to see all her techniques and her attachments that much quicker and just make her that much harder. And then when these do come out, you're stunned and you're confused and you got big minions. So like I think even by itself as a 4-card set, it can really ramp up gameplay.
Agreed. Yeah.
So are you suggesting, Steve, that it's almost a cheaty hero that would add this as a +1?
No, I think actually I'm not saying that. I'm saying it works either way, which is what makes it such a nice set.
That is nice. Yeah. Well, what are we going to grade this one?
B+ for me.
B+, interesting. Okay.
I like what it's doing. I don't like it in solo. I think it's just not enough. It should have been a couple extra cards.
Daniel, what do you think?
I think I'm going to give it an A- for what I would think the solo effect it would have on Justice.
Okay. All right. Well, that is the Beastie Boys set. Mike, how do folks get hold of us?
That was awesome, guys. In fact, I want to hear from the listeners. What have you done with Beasties? Like, have you put it in other sets? Is there a villain you think they particularly jive with? Let us know. Email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We're Critical Encounters on Facebook, and you can find our YouTube channel by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Bardane, Big Bone Loaf, and Wandering too. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Beastie Boys, take us out.
You gotta fight for your right to party!
Brass monkey.
We're not doing that. Cut it. Cut the brass monkey.
I will.
But that's not Beastie Boys, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Brass monkey is Beastie Boys.
Brass monkey, funky monkeys. Oh, I had no idea. I didn't mean to sabotage the show. I apologize.
Oh my God! This ain't sabotaged.
You did. Okay, cut all that.